Have you ever thought about the quality of the products that you're creating for your resource group? Most people don't, and this is why most groups are ineffective. I'm going to be talking about what you can do to be different. In today's show, I discuss several things, including why you need to establish quality control really quickly, the reason your engagements may be too short, the essential training that you could be ignoring, and much, much more. I'm Jonathan Ashong Lamptey. This is the Resource Groups podcast. Here's what's coming up on today's show. And what I found is that invariably, the products they create will fall into a single category. But there was always room to maneuver, room to add value, room to increase the quality of the product. Producing the same thing over and over again gets really boring really quickly. Welcome to the latest episode of the Resource Groups podcast, where it's my job to explore, discuss and deconstruct ways to help the people within your workplace reach their potential and drive performance through inclusive practices. In simple terms, this means I'll be drawing from a variety of disciplines, trying to connect the dots in terms of best practices, habits, and other important pieces of information that you can apply in your organization. If you're finding this for the first time, make sure you check out the show notes to get details of all the reports and all the resources that are discussed in the show by going to resourcegroups.com/podcasts. That's resourcegroups.com/podcasts. We're also going to be continuing the conversation online in the Resource Groups community. That's where you can get a slide deck that summarizes everything that we talk about on the show. I look forward to hearing from you and hope you enjoy the show. One of the questions that I'm regularly asked is, what can we do to improve our staff network? Or, what can we do to have a better employee resource group? Most of the time, this question doesn't come from people who are starting out. It comes from people who have groups that are already established, groups that are already doing stuff, groups that no one really cares about. One of the reasons that I found to explain why no one cares about them is because they're not producing high quality products. What do I mean by high quality products? What I mean is that in a knowledge-based economy, most of us are paid to produce something, a product or a service. Even if you're not facing clients, you will be responsible for creating a product or a service. Now, I don't know what that is because I don't work with you, but what I do know is that you will be judged on what you produce. For example, I'm a chartered accountant. I used to work at the Walt Disney Company, European headquarters in London. I wasn't client-facing, but everyone I supported was. Retail marketing, publishing, loads of stuff. I led a load of pan-European initiatives. I liaised with the global finance heads in New York and California. I provided a comprehensive service that allowed these people to develop the business. Now, I'm telling you this not to impress you, but to impress on you that this was a multifaceted role with lots of stakeholders, and they had a variety of demands. And so I had to create a variety of products. Now, these were reports, updates, schedules. A lot of them weren't even financial, but some of these were standard. There wasn't a choice. It was mandatory. But there was always room to maneuver, room to add value, room to increase the quality of the product. So what does this story have to do with you or your employee resource group? Well, if you take a look at the outputs of your group, what is it you produce? Who cares about them? Will they be missed if you stop? One of our previous guests, AJ Mystery, he said that you should run your employee resource group as if it was a business. And part of that means keeping a firm eye on quality control. So when these people ask me about improving their resource groups, one of the things we talk about are the types of activities that they engage in. On the surface, this looks like a simple question, but when used properly, it can be really profound. Why? Because I'm trying to learn about their outputs, their products. And what I found is that invariably, the products they create will fall into a single category. And these tend to be around events. More specifically, panel events and networking events. Now, these are the go-to activities that nearly everybody does. And the logic goes like this. Let's get some senior people. Let's get some inclusion celebrities, and then we can say that we care about inclusion. Now, these types of events have an important role, but it should be one of a suite of products being produced. On their own, they're simply not effective. So how do you improve the quality of the products of your employee resource group? If you look online, there are thousands of ideas. Everyone's got an idea about how to improve a product or a service. Now, I'm not an expert on product development, but I do know about employee resource groups. And so I want to give you 3 things that I've seen work. First is consider the audience. A high quality product serves a market need. People actually want it and are willing to spend their time and money to get it. Producing the same thing over and over again gets really boring really quickly, and especially if no one wants it. Particularly because part of your message needs to reach people who are not in the room. Your audience is likely to be much larger than you think it is. Most people are focused just on their members. However, here, we define employee resource groups as voluntary groups of employees who share a social identity, values, or interests. If you think of this as your target market, that's a lot bigger than your members. Consider the people who share your values, who share your interests, and this is going to help you create a better quality product. Second is to consider the time frame and then lengthen it. One-off events or activities often feel like a flash in the pan. They grab attention and then they go. But a series of events and activities in line with a particular strategy have got a much better chance of creating change. Organizations that want one-off training or talks are less inclusive than those who are committed to a program of change. Think about a product that you use that you consider to be high quality. Your attraction probably didn't happen overnight. You may have developed a relationship over time. Your resource groups should be thinking in a similar way. Organizations that take your money and run, they tend to offer poor quality products. Don't be one of them. Build relationships. And then finally, the third thing is consider training your team. High quality products are delivered by people who know what they're doing. They've had high quality training. Isn't it nice when you make a high quality purchase and the person you're speaking to clearly knows what they're talking about? They've been trained, they anticipate your questions, they instill you with confidence. What does this mean for you? This means that the people responsible for running your resource group, they need support too. They need training, they need development, and dare I say it, they need resources. Now, this doesn't always have to be money, but time is essential. Very few groups have a comprehensive development program on how to actually run the group. Now, this can be informal, but this is so useful in keeping valuable knowledge within the group, particularly when someone leaves or you just need to change the officers who are in charge. Lots of people talk about this, but very few people do it. So let's wrap this up. What are the key messages here? 1. You need to create quality products for your resource group. 2. You should lengthen the time you spend on any engagement in order to develop meaningful relationships. And 3. The people running the resource group, they need support too. So what do you think? What products are you making? How can you increase the time that people spend on your products in order to develop a relationship? Get in touch or leave a message. We would love to hear from you. To learn more about our work and the resources discussed in the show, check out the show notes by going to resourcegroups.com/podcasts. That's resourcegroups.com/podcasts. If you're finding this for the first time, hit subscribe to make sure you get all the latest updates and access to other episodes of the show. You can also sign up to our newsletter to get on the insider list to stay ahead of everything that we do. We're active on social media. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @resourcegroups. If you've learned something from today's show, please share it with one other person that you think may benefit. If you really like the show, please leave us a 5-star review. With your support, we can really take this show to the next level. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.